Live from WSBT 22 Studios, this is Hometown Living.
This morning, I was able to speak to Anita K, a life coach who has this advice for her clients. Keep it positive and stay brave. Let's take a look. Good morning, Anita. Welcome to Hometown Living.
Good morning, Craig. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Well, you have a message that I think is so important for us to hear these days, probably all days, but it has a definite spotlight right now. And so give me some good advice on how to handle my mental centeredness and my mental health during this pandemic quarantine time.
I think that's a great question. I get that asked a lot. A lot of this, I'll start with, centers around the unknowns, right? The uncertainty, the fear, and the anxiety. And I think learning the difference between isolation and loneliness is key right now. You know, isolation is the so-called social distancing, the physical separation that we're all practicing and that we're implementing in our lives. And then loneliness is associated with those emotions that are letting us feel that we're trapped and we're really alone from others. But I think what's really important is to focus on new key messages that really self-benefit us. So when we think about social distancing, there's a lot of negative connotations. Boy, I can't do this. I can't see that person. And lots of limitations are arising in our minds. But I think if we mind shift from social distancing to social bridging, that might be a little easy just in our thoughts. And what I mean by that, while we still have to practice social distancing, we don't have to disconnect. So when we think of bridging to our loved ones, our professional colleagues, the environment that's so sacred and safety within our own residence or our own backyard, bridging to what's my purpose, what's my plan B, how am I going to get through these times, it is very helpful. This moves us kind of out of that fear and lowers the level of that anxiety and really raises our self-awareness. So just simple mind shifts from social distancing, which we know we've got to do, to bridging what we know we have control over through digital technology and other streams is very beneficial.
Yeah, I've made a conscious effort during this time to reach out to people, and it's been kind of nice. You know, it has. Yeah, I think we've all been, it's been exciting to find creative ways through video conferencing and finding humor through that and connecting. And remember, we're all in this together. So and I think that's really key too, is knowing that we're not alone through this. So one of the things that you talked about that I think I hear from so many people is that, it's hard not to want to stay in touch with the news. Right, you want to keep up, and things are changing so rapidly. What is some advice on how to monitor that so that you don't have just that influx of negative energy coming into you constantly all day long?
I think to stare the fears down that are associated with the negative noise and news is to really, quote, stay in your lane. And what I mean by that is balance the information that you're seeking. When we chase down our fears, we've got to chase the facts. And we get to choose the resources that we really want to obtain the facts from. So for some of us, it's daily news. For some of us, it's through friends and colleagues. Through some of us, it's podcasts or print and online media streams. But be cognizant, because it goes back to managing our wellness routines. And I think part of taking care of ourselves and staying in the positive right now, when we've got so much negative news, you're right, just thrown at us, left and right, is to really seek that balance. And although we need to continue to progress, it's important to filter out those negative noise with healthy distractions. Staying in your wellness routine, maybe scheduling when you want to hear what's going out on the metrics of what's going on in the stock market and the economy and unemployment and what's my dad going through next, and the health crises. So I think it's really important to stay in your lane, know that you have control over the medium of how you want to obtain the right information. And when you feel that sense of feeling overwhelmed, it's just too much. It's healthy to take breaks. We forget that sometimes. We really don't have to be on the day-to-day all day long. So keep your distractions in a healthy way by taking those breaks and focusing on what really matters and what I have control over right now.
I just have really smart friends, so I just listen to them.
I think that's very smart.
I let them do all the legwork, watch all the different networks, gather all the information, and then they give me like the Reader's Digest version of it. I'm not
the Cliff Notes.
Right. Anita, thank you.
Exactly. Whatever works, I think that's important.
Well, I think you've shared some great insight and some great advice for our friends at home. So thank you for being with us on Hometown Living.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Stay safe and stay brave.
You too.